What are the key questions you ask a leader or organization when they engage you to run a workshop? What do you need to know? And there's sort of two questions I ask. The first one is, who are you wanting to use the game with? Do you want to use it with leaders only, like a leadership team? In fact, I'm having this conversation next week. Do you want to use it with just your leaders, or do you want to use it with your team, just your team, your employees, like a group of employees? Or do you want to use it with a functional team, so a leader plus their employees? And the reason I ask those three things is because if we're just going to run it with a leadership team, then there's two options you have there. And those options, when I'm running these sessions, will be, do we want to connect that leadership team? Because quite often a team of senior leaders, if there's 12 of them and they have 12 different teams, they don't spend a lot of time together apart from in strategy days or their weekly functional sort of tactical meetings. So if they want to connect them better, then I say we run the regular Map Your Emotional Culture workshop. We just run it with that leadership team, and they map the emotional culture of their leadership team. Because within that, they're nudging self-awareness because they're learning about what they want to feel and not feel and learning from each other. And then they're having a discussion about how they can, their leadership team environment. If the question is they want to use it with their leadership team, but they want to focus on leadership development, say, or words to that effect, it'll be, okay, let's use the cards, but use the pink side of the cards. So how do they want their teams to feel and not feel? And then that becomes a self-reflection exercise. How do we need to behave as a leadership team to create the environment we believe we need? So that's sort of the duality of how you can have a conversation if somebody says they want to use it with their leaders. The third subpart to the leader question is, if the team is going through a whole bunch of change, this game works really well from a change leadership perspective. Because the really simple question is, how do we want our people to change? How do we want our people to feel through this change? And that's actually one of my favorite workshops to run now when I run it with teams, because it's so specific to a moment in time or what's happening now, which makes it really tangible. It's not as ethereal or as intangible as culture as a whole. It's, we are going through this period of change now. How do we want them to feel and not feel through that change? And it really brings leaders together to have that emotionally led conversation, change and emotion conversation rather than just functional change conversation. Yeah. So as you can see, just from that first question I asked back is, do you want to use it with leaders or a team? Like all of a sudden you can go down one route with it. If they want to use it with a team, a functional team, then the Map Your Emotional Culture workshop, which you're learning through the course, is the simplest way to use it with a team. And so that's where the conversation will then go. And that's down to, though, in really basic terms, like a team building thing or redefining the team culture of that team, or better connecting their team. All these things start to work together. It just depends on the lens on who you're using it with and what the core question is, essentially. Yeah. But so coming back, just recapping on her question, what are the key questions you ask a leader when they engage you to run a workshop? It's that. Who do you really want to run the session with, leaders or employees and their team and their leader? And then what angle do we want to take? Is it a leadership conversation, a self-awareness one, or connecting our teams?